back with another video. I'm Kristen.
I'm Lana.
I'm Janelle.
I'm Laura.
And today we'll be talking about studying.
Mm-hmm. So what would you guys consider to be your studying styles?
Not reading the book. We get PowerPoints, so I'll just look over PowerPoints, and if I don't understand something, then I'll go in the book and kind of elaborate and go more in depth with it. But I think my style is just looking at the PowerPoint over and over, rewriting notes, and then trying to think outside the box and apply it to like a clinical scenario and think, okay, what if a patient has this?
I would say the same with Lana. I read through the PowerPoint again, and then I'll rewrite the notes, and then I'll refer to the textbook if I don't understand anything. And something that I've started doing is concept maps, just to link different things that we're learning, because as we go on, we'll start to realize the different connections, so it's helpful to link them all together.
I'll read the PowerPoints first, but then what I'll do afterwards is I'll make flashcards using Anki. That is spelled A-N-K-I.
Not sponsored.
But if you want to sponsor us, Anki. It's very easily accessible if you have a desktop or a laptop. It's free, and you can pretty much do anything with flashcards. You can do fill in the blanks, you can put in an image and then blank out the label so that when you have the image you can identify it, and if you answered the question right, then you won't have to see it for a day, but then if you get it wrong, then you can see it again in 10-15 minutes. Has it started?
I think so.
A wild Katrina has appeared.
A wild Katrina has showed up. So Kat showed up and our camera cut out. So this is Kat. We're talking about our studying styles.
I recorded lectures, would re-listen, most ideally the day of, and then what worked for me was rewriting notes, honestly, and color coding. For some reason that helped, and then quizzing myself off my written notes, and then quizzing with you guys.
Yeah.
It was a process.
Yeah, I think for me too, all I really did was rewrite notes and then also study with you guys. I never really did flashcards so much. What worked for me was making mock exams, and that's what I mostly did to study.
Yeah, I made practice quizzes using Quizlet. I also liked using whiteboards too, just to kind of write out everything and kind of organize it to where I can remember it better.
If you have a digital device like an iPad and an Apple Pencil or any kind of tablet and stylus, you can use that to kind of rewrite your notes if you're on the go and studying that way, if you don't have the room or the space for a whiteboard. So how often do you guys study? I guess not how often, how long do you guys study for?
All day, every day.
Honestly though,
That's all that happens.
we were in school pretty much straight from June to December, and throughout those 6 months I probably took maybe a week off from studying, sporadically scattered out throughout the semester, but other than that, I studied pretty much every day, and it ranged in hours, of course. Some days I wouldn't study as much, maybe 2-3 hours, and then some days I would be 12 to 15, 16, depending on the load we had for the week and what we had coming up.
I think I'm the one of us that probably would study the least. That's just because that's the style that works best for me. I found that when I would try to keep up with them and study until 7-8 p.m. they're still at school and it's dark out, I would do significantly worse on the exams. So for me, I would make it a point to take one day off a week, and I would typically stop studying at around 5:30 or 6 every single day, and that I think worked a lot better for me. When you guys study, you guys are saying you study 12-15 hours a day. You guys take breaks, right? How often do you guys take breaks throughout the day? How do you break up how you study?
I like to break it up with working out. I don't know, when I feel my brain is kind of going off and not dedicated to studying, I feel that's a sign that your body does need a break. So I think working out, getting the blood flow, getting those endorphins, it makes you a little bit more motivated just in general, so you're motivated to go back to studying. also getting up and taking walk breaks while you're studying, especially if it's a nice day outside. Just, you know, just like 10 minutes or something, just to kind of change the scenery and
get some sunlight.
Yeah, get some vitamin D.
It actually wakes me up when I go for a walk.
Yeah. Even in between classes, that's what a lot of our class just collectively decided to do, was anytime we would have breaks in our class periods, we would have about 5, maybe 10 minutes if it's in between classes. And we would all just stand outside just to absorb sunlight for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot. Do you guys study for every single class every single day? Or do you just study the class that you had that day? How did you guys handle having... We have about 5-6 classes a semester. So how do you guys, I guess, pay attention to each one of those?
So everyone here studied for neuro probably every day.
Yeah.
That's the number 1 class. And then there was, on the other spectrum, there's one class that we could probably study like once a week. Or something.
If that. So depending on the class, some classes are more dense than others, and some, like neuroanatomy, for example, we had a quiz every week. So we would have to be learning new material every week. So we studied for that class much every day, like Kat said.
Yeah. I think it helps that the class would have quizzes and exams so frequently, because I felt like it helped us keep up with all of the material.
Yeah.
We would have some other classes, we would have our midterm and our final, and that's it. No other assignments at all. And it's, one, really stressful to put all of your grades onto just 2 exams, let alone to even remember to study for it when you have regular exams on every other class.
And then it's nice because you can see what worked for you or didn't work for you for that week or quiz or test, and then you can like improve from there.
So cramming.
Don't do it.
Yes.
No.
I feel like there's just so much material coming at you at a quick pace too, that it's almost impossible to cram if you want to do well. You're just gonna be extremely overwhelmed, and when you're that overwhelmed, it's almost like debilitating. Like you don't want to even look at anything just because there's so much to look at. So it is important to stay on top of things and not procrastinate as best as you can.
I know, even for the small things. Like even for a quiz, you can't procrastinate. You can't really wait till the day before, because you will do worse.
I mean, some of our neuro quizzes would normally have like two-ish lectures for each quiz, so that's like 100 slides of information right there, you know, and you have to space it out.
You're agreeing a lot for somebody who crams.
I'm talking all from experience from all the things I've done wrong. So.
Learn from us.
I don't cram usually. When I study for the quiz, when there's like 15 minutes left before the quiz, it's just like the details that I didn't remember completely yet. So it's like, okay, at 15 minutes I have a chance that if I remember something, I can recollect it on the quiz.
I don't have that mentality at all. I'm like, I don't want to look at it right before the quiz. I studied so much for this. Looking at it now is just going to confuse me.
Yeah, Lana and I have the same mentality of, it hits like the 15-minute mark, sometimes even like the half-hour mark before an exam, and we stop looking at the notes. It's just not for us, I think, at least for me personally. I just find it more stressful.
It is stressful, but sometimes I like at least thinking about the day's topic or whatever, like that morning, just so I get my head thinking neuro. But I
not
do
like
when
everybody's
stop and take
there.
a walk before. When everyone's there, just
like reviewing with each other like the 2 minutes before the exam is starting. I'm like, no, headphones on, nobody talk to me.
I like to isolate myself, because during quizzes, like, a group of us would be in the hallways and it can get really stressful. So just finding your own little quiet place so that you can review on your own works better than just being around so many people.
So do you guys have any other tips that you think would help for studying, like looking back on the semester?
Well, if you're going to study with groups, then I think that you should do small groups. Big groups you can get distracted pretty easily.
Study with a variety of people. Like, it was only until the end of the semester that I started studying with like a different person who I never really studied with, and that was helpful for me. So study with different people because they'll place importance on different things.
Listen to your body. Like if you feel like you're too fatigued and you can't study anymore, then you probably shouldn't be, because then you're not going to be retaining that information.
Don't be afraid to change your study style, because I think going from like undergrad to grad school, almost all of us realize that there's some things that we need to change.
I didn't study shit.
Like for me, I didn't study with groups. I was so used to self-studying, so just being able to be flexible with how you study, learning from what didn't go so well, will help you move on forward.
And also being flexible, like you may not understand everything as easily as you did in undergrad, and you may have to take the extra time or extra steps to go out of your way and ask for help or spend more time on something than you think you would. And that's okay, because it's meant to be challenging. It's a growing process.
You guys mentioned the difference between undergraduate and graduate. So I think we should briefly touch on how our GPA changed from undergrad to grad, and kind of like how to deal with that, because I think in part some of the stress of studying was noticing that we couldn't get by with the study tactics that we used to use in undergrad.
You just have to be comfortable with being challenged, and you're not going to know anything, and PT school is designed that way, because in undergrad, yeah, there were some difficult questions on the test, but pretty much they were pretty straightforward, and if you read the PowerPoint, you know you should be okay. PT school is not like that. You could read all the PowerPoints and know it like front and back, know it perfectly, like verbatim, word for word. But if you're posed with a question with 7 answer choices and 3 of the 7 answer choices sound the same, minus like a little detail, then that's a lot harder, and it requires a lot more thinking, and you may not get it right, and that's okay. So I think it's just being comfortable with not knowing everything, but also at the same time confident that you studied it and you're able to answer the question with the knowledge you have. You just have to think about it an extra step.
I think
it's like
anytime after,
like that was on slide 45, I remember.
Yeah, we would say word for word things that were on the slide, and we'd be like, we know this stuff, we know this information, but the way that tests are written for graduate school is completely different.
Answer?
It's really Socratic method and thinking through beyond just A and B, and you have to go to C. And to change that mentality, one, is difficult in and of itself, but you also have to recognize it's a process that's going to take time. I think a lot of us got impatient with ourselves, and we're like, why aren't we getting this? Are we stupid? Why don't we understand?
Studied 3 days for this, for 10 questions, and I missed 3 of the 10 questions. What the heck?
So I think, be kind to yourself and take it easy. Let go of your ego.
Yes.
Your 4.0 means nothing now.
I don't need 100%.
No. Give it up. 83s get
CPTs,
CPTs,
baby.
It's like be competitive, but be competitive with yourself.
GPA isn't everything. You have to go into it with the mentality that this stuff, you're learning to practice it. You're not learning it to get an A on an exam. I mean, yeah, you want to learn it so you can pass your boards, so you can practice, but you want to use these tools and what we're learning and be able to apply it more than anything.
I think what really helped a lot is that we really, as a class, not even just like our group, but as a class, we really worked hard to make sure that everybody understood what the topic was. Our notes were uploaded onto a Google Drive. Our study guides that we would make, somebody would record the lectures and post them up for anybody. If they made Quizlets, we would post about it, and I think that really helped a lot, and also I think helped give us a sense of community.
For sure.
And I think it made us stronger as a group.
Yeah.
Books. Do you need books in PT school?
Maybe just for the hardest class as a supplement. But in general, our lectures were enough, huh?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think
Foundations would need a book for pictures, but otherwise I think the lecture was fine.
It would just be impossible to just read 20 pages every single day.
We we tried, and it just didn't work with the schedule.
On top of having to review lecture, there is no time for reading all that.
No.
Nobody got time for that.
Participate in outside events and volunteer opportunities kind of related to PT that remind you why you are in school, and it'll be motivating for you to go back and review the material, because at the end of the day you want to be able to help these people, but you have to have the knowledge to help these people.
So that's the end of this video.
Yeah.
Main points.
You're gonna study a lot.
Be prepared for that.
But listen to your body and take breaks.
Check your ego at the door.
And work with others.
Yeah.
And don't procrastinate.
Don't cram.
Don't do it.
All things that you probably heard your whole life and you're not going to put into practice until you're actually there and realize that, yeah, it does work. Sometimes you have to experience it to learn.
Yeah.
If you guys have any more questions or any video ideas, comment below, leave a like.
Yeah,
all that
or
good
put your
stuff.
study tips
Yeah,
down in the comments
put your
section.
study tips too. Maybe we'll help each other out. It'll be a collaborative effort. If you like our video, you want to see more, subscribe. Do you want to do your subscribe dance? I figured. Say bye. Say bye to the people. Bye-bye. Long day of filming. 2 hours of filming. We got donuts.
Donut bar.
Oh, shit.
Is it good? Yes! Yes! With the peanuts too.
I'm about to eat this in like 3 seconds.
Yes or yes?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
So in theory, there's a Pop-Tart inside of here. In theory. I'm gonna make all of you guys try this. Wait, I'm not even gonna get to that.
Did you get to it?
I mean, it's good.
Yeah?
I have to get to the Pop-Tart though.
How many bites does it take to get to the center of the Pop-Tart?
Well, one? Dude, Lana!
Oh my gosh.
Hi. That's pretty good.
I ate fast.
There's
there
the
it is.
Pop-Tart.
Where?
There it is. Then they
Yeah.
all decided to get jelly donut.
Try this one to know, because I know you
I know,
want
usually I don't like donuts
I know
with
what
filling,
jelly
but
does.
it's
Damn, I know a lot.
Good.
Where do I bite?
Wherever.
Right here. Delicious.
Is it not good? This isn't an advertisement.
I just don't know how to act.
I feel like you need to zoom in there.
I'm not giving it back.